The party spanned into the early AMs. Juliet found herself staying longer than anticipated. She mingled amongst the crowd, mind steeped deep in absurdity. The warmth of the dragon lingered even when they parted, a smoke scent knitted into the threads of Juliet's dress. Soon that was all that remained of Feria, after bidding Juliet a quiet adieu. She instead found herself eavesdropping on conversations as she wandered the floor. The height of conversation was speculation, about the master of the house, about the dragon, about the grey he supposedly kept as a servant. There were more theories about the man. Some suggested he may be immortal himself, that maybe he somehow had elven blood in his veins. Others scoffed at such a notion. The endless parties, the audacious decor, it all screamed new money. And as someone of refined breeding, Juliet had to agree. The beginnings of a late-night headache moved Juliet away from the party. The dance floor had noticeably thinned. Servants were clearing away the discarded drinks, sweeping the floors in preparation for a new festivity. Despite this, Juliet had difficulty finding Dawn. A lot of difficulty. She scanned the entirety of the crowd, indoors and out. But after all of it, she came up with nothing. Upon querying a few ladies still on the dance floor, it became clear that Donnie had dipped. After she'd gone off on her own, he'd given up on the chase. The news left her rattled. Not that she'd been excited to leave with Dawn, but more the realization that she didn't know where to go. In her mind's eye, she could see the morning that awaited her. She wondered which man would be sent to collect her, felt weak as she imagined saying goodbye to the capital. Juliet bristled, the thoughts too heavy for the dance floor. She exited into the hallways, finding the dormant places of the building. Where the party had not traveled, there was deafening silence, walls lined with portraits of Whiteheart. In a lonely parlor, Juliet found a love seat to rest with her thoughts. She draped herself over the arm, absently picking at the stem in her ear. She could feel a new leaf growing against her index finger. Were she to refuse the dragon's request, she'd be done with the thing. A relief. Or it should have felt as such. She'd never considered how invigorating it felt. Until the dragon spoke, she'd never considered it as something deadly. It was like a battle scar, a consequence of rubbing up against something bigger. To discard it all? For what? To live once again under her mother's thumb? To waste away like some bird in a cage? "I'd rather die," she said. The words hung in the silent room. When Lul returned to his bedroom, he was met with a wolf. She lay in his bed, a massive creature with paws larger than his hands. Clumps of black fur coated his white sheets, leaving hazy clouds of gray beneath her. However monstrous she was, Lul paid her no mind, making for the curtains. He threw them open, allowing the morning light to fill the room. It washed over the wolf, causing her to roll over, hiding her eyes behind a paw. Lul was more comfortable in the light than she. If one could hide their intentions in the light, they could get away with anything. A man in powder blue was far more responsible with bloodstains. At least, that's how Lul saw it. Though, the light wasn't always kind. His attention turned to the portrait above the hearth. It was the only picture that wasn't of himself. Instead, it was a woman, half living, half dead. On one side, she looked almost like an angel, long white hair swirling down her shoulders. But on the opposite, she was decayed, her teeth visible through her broken skin. A skeletal hand winded with one of flesh, clasping a bouquet of angel's tears. Lenora. Nearly 110,000 days had passed since her death, days which moved at the agonizing speed of a mortal. And after all that time, he still smelled her perfume, still felt finger bones caress his cheek, still felt the cold chill of death when he lay in bed. What a fool he was to love the spirit of death. She was destined to one day move beyond the veil. Death was Lenora's true nature. Lul ripped his attention free of her, before more painful memories had their chance with him. He turned back to his bed, watching as the wolf stretched awake. "I'll have you turn down my sheets after getting your fur everywhere." In a blur, her fur turned to feathers. The creature, now a raven, landed on his shoulder. "Must you always choose such dark fur and feathers?" he remarked. The bird pecked at his scar in response. She hopped from his shoulder, shifting form again. This time she became a woman. As expected, her hair was black, a dreary maiden in a short fringed dress. It was the same form she'd chosen for the party. "I like black," Nikki scoffed. "You know, there isn't a dress code, right? Just because you're a shadow spirit. You can turn yourself into any living being, imaginary or not. I'm suggesting you be a tad bit creative."
Ugh. See, this is why I came up here. For all these parties you throw, you somehow are the least fun.
I'm the least fun? For suggesting you expand beyond grayscale?
Black scales,
she snarled back as oil-slick scales emerged from her flesh. He patted her shoulder, interrupting her shift. "Not in my manner. Save it for another time," she grumbled, crossing her arms over her chest.
"Fine."
Lul smiled, attention turning to his painting. "You see what I have to put up with?"
"What you're putting up with? Look in a mirror."
Nikki glared at him before flitting to Lenora's portrait.
"Why did you ever date him?"
Lul watched the painting a moment, then sighed. "Must we yell at inanimate objects?"
"Maybe you shouldn't have started it."
Lul laughed. "But it's fun when I do it."
"Is not."
"Is to."
"Is not."
"Is to." Let's leave it at that. This is getting very, very childish. Lul grinned as he watched the argument burn in her eyes.
"Ugh, you're so obnoxious."
She threw up her hands.
"I should have slept in another room."
"You really should have." Lul walked to his desk, taking up a flask from his drawers. Conversations with Nikki usually left him parched. "So, you went to visit Visette?" Nikki grimaced.
"How did you know?"
"You don't sleep often, and turning into a wolf. Don't you two like to run around as dogs or something? Last time you visited him, I believe it was during a fox nap." Nikki grinned at the memory.
"You're right. That's why I visited as a wolf. I thought it'd be a little more exciting for him."
"I see."
"I nearly caught him. If I were only a little better navigating the dream world, oh, it'd be fun."
Lul scowled. "Don't kill Visette."
"I wouldn't."
"I mean it. The spirit of dreams is an important messenger."
"I know."
Lul watched her a few moments, hoping the point would sink in. In the end, it wouldn't matter. Nikki's nature was one beyond even herself. As spirit of confusion, she didn't have it in her to make a plan, nor did she have it in her to ignore her erratic impulses. "All right. Now, I need you to clean up that mess." He pointed to the clumps of fur in his bed.
"I'm not a maid."
"Ignoring that it's your mess, you were put under my charge by the god of shadows, so in a way, you are my maid if that's what I wish." Nikki snarled as he spoke, teeth turning sharp.
"That's stupid."
"You're saying our god is stupid?"
"Putting you in charge?" Nikki huffed. "Yeah, maybe he's a little stupid."
Nikki, my dearest Nikki, I am an excellent member of the Shadow Council. My greatness is only rivaled by that of the Shadow God himself." Lul smirked. You are an asset, certainly, but you are erratic by your very nature. You need someone to keep you out of trouble."
"Ugh!"
Nikki threw her hands to her sides.
"This is so unfair. Are we at least doing something fun soon?"
"I've been having fun."
"Doing what? Drinking? Dancing?"
Lul nodded. "And if you didn't enjoy your time on the town, you're welcome to stay at the manor."
"I wish for neither,"
she growled. "It's too bad those are your two options. Atala was very clear. He wants you under control. I know you don't care about my opinions, but you must have some regard for your stupid god." She bristled at the word.
"Don't tell him I said that."
"I won't." Lul narrowed his eyes. "If you don't tell him about letting you sneak out those few times." Her eyes widened.
"You don't spy on me."
Lul laughed. Just be happy I didn't stop you. Where have you been sneaking off to?
It's none of your business.
Look, I don't care. But if you do have anything going on, you better wrap it up quick.
Why's that?
Because I have word from Leah. She's going to keep watch of you going forward. I have my own business to attend to.
Nicky continued to tense as he spoke. When's my turn to do what I want?
Soon, he yawned. Clean up the fur, and I'll let you finish your business on the town.
She scowled. And what are you doing when Leah takes me?
Nothing exciting. Just killing sages.